Happy day. Today's session is going to be on simple compartment models under the topic mathematical modeling. So before we go into the topic, let us see what are compartment models. Compartment models are a type of mathematical modeling approach used to represent and analyze complex systems with multiple interacting components. These models are widely employed in various fields such as biology, pharmacology, epidemiology and engineering to study the dynamic behavior of systems over time. In biology, compartment models are widely used to study the spread of infectious disease within the populations, the neural networks in the brain and the dynamics of the immune system. In pharmacology, they are used to study drug-to-drug interactions, predict drug concentrations over time. In engineering, they are used to study the transport of liquids or gases in systems such as pipelines, networks or hydraulic systems and the flow of information in communication networks. Now let us see the purpose of compartment models. Compartment models are used to simplify complex systems, analyze and understand the system dynamics and enable researchers and practitioners to make predictions about system behavior, optimize process and develop strategies for interventions based on how the entities interact and move within the system. The three main components of the compartment models are components, flows and parameters. Components represent distinct subpopulations or reservoirs within the system. For example, in epidemiology, compartments represent groups like susceptible, infected and recovered individuals. And flows represent the movement of entities between the compartments. Parameters are values that influence the rate of flow between the compartments. So today we are going to discuss simple compartment model which contains two compartments. One compartment is an overhead tank which contains a constant volume with a concentration C, and the other one is a vessel below which contains a constant volume V with concentration C of T which changes with respect to time. Let the solution in the overhead tank enter the vessel below at a constant rate R, and after mixing thoroughly with the solution in the vessel, leave the vessel at the same constant rate R. So this situation is shown in the diagram in the slide. Now let us see how this situation can be modeled to obtain an expression for C of T, which will enable us to find out the concentration of the solute in the vessel at any time t, for which we need to apply the principle of continuity. According to principle of continuity, the gain in amount of a substance in a medium at any time is equal to the excess of the amount that has entered the medium in that time over the amount that has left the medium in that time. Now this principle applying to our situation helps us to arrive at the expression 1, which is given by V into C of T plus delta T minus V into C of T is equal to RC delta T minus RC of T delta T. So in this expression, the left hand side represents the gain in amount of the substance and the right hand side represents the excess of amount that has entered the system over time. Now the expression 1, dividing both sides by delta T and letting delta T tends to 0, we arrive at the differential equation which is given by 2, that is dC of T divided by dt plus R by V into C of T is equal to RC by V, which is a first order linear differential equation and it is of the form dy by dx plus P into y is equal to Q. Now solving this differential equation, we will be able to arrive at the expression for C of T. Now let us see how we solve this differential equation. So first we need to find out the integrating factor, and the integrating factor is given by e power integral R by V dt, which is equal to e power RT by V after integration. Now the general solution of the differential equation can be written as C of T into integrating factor is equal to integration of RC integrating factor dt plus a constant k. Now substituting the integrating factor in the expression and evaluating the integration in the RHS, we will be able to arrive at the solution C of t, which is given by the equation 3. So, C of t into e power RT by V is equal to C e power RT by V plus a constant k, which is the solution of the required differential equation. Now, we need to find the constant k, for which we apply the initial conditions. As t tends to infinity and C of t tends to C, that is, as the concentration in the vessel below tends to the concentration in the overhead tank. So, now let us see what happens as time t tends to infinity. As time t tends to infinity, C of t tends to C. That is, ultimately the vessel below has the same concentration as the overhead tank, which is a conclusion for this particular model. Now, if C is greater than C naught, that is, the concentration in the overhead tank is greater than the initial concentration in the vessel below, then ultimately the concentration in the vessel increases to C, and if C is less than C naught, then the concentration in the vessel decreases to C, which is shown graphically in the diagram given below. Now, let us discuss a case where the rate of inflow and the rate of outflow are not the same. That is, let us take the rate of inflow into the vessel to be R and the rate of outflow from the vessel to be R dash, where R is greater than R dash. Since the rate of inflow and the rate of outflow are different, the volume in the vessel keeps changing with respect to time, and also the concentration changes with respect to time. So, let us take V naught to be the initial volume in the vessel and C of t to be the concentration at any time t. So, this situation is shown diagrammatically in this slide, and let us denote the gain in amount of solute in the vessel at any time interval delta t to be delta x. Now, applying the principle of continuity to this particular case, we will be able to arrive at the expression del x is equal to RC into del t minus R dash C of t into del t, which is the expression governing this particular case, where delta x in the left hand side denotes the gain in amount, and the expression in the right hand side denotes the excess of amount that has entered the vessel in the time interval delta t. Now, proceeding similarly as we did for the previous case, dividing both sides by delta t and letting delta t tends to 0, we have dx of t by dt is equal to RC minus R dash into C of t, which is the differential equation governing this particular case, where x of t denotes the amount at any time t, and all of us know that amount is equal to volume into concentration. So, x of t can be written as V naught plus R minus R dash into t into C of t. Now, substituting this in the given differential equation, we arrive at the expression 5, which is the final differential equation governing case 2 that we are discussing now. Now, let us see how we can solve this differential equation and arrive at the solution to find an expression for C of t. Now, in the left hand side, the term in the numerator can be split into two expressions, and we can write the derivative as sum of two derivatives as shown in the expression 6, where V naught is a constant and R minus R dash is a constant. So, they are written outside the derivatives. Now, expression 6 can be further rearranged. That is, the second term in the expression 6, the differentiation can be done using the product rule, and we arrive at the expression 7 rearranging the terms. That is, we get dC of t by dt plus R divided by V naught plus R minus R dash t into C of t is equal to RC divided by V naught plus R minus R dash t, which is a differential equation governing our model after arranging it suitably. Now, as we can see, this differential equation is also a first order linear differential equation, and it is of the form dy by dx plus p into y is equal to q. So, proceeding similarly as we have done for the previous case, we have to find the integrating factor, and the integrating factor is given by e power integral r divided by v naught plus r minus r dash t into dt, which is equal to e power r into, as we all know, the integration for 1 by v naught plus r minus r dash t is log of v naught plus r minus r dash t divided by r minus r dash. Now, applying the property of logarithm and rewriting it, we get the integrating factor to be v naught plus r minus r dash t whole power r by r minus r dash. Now, we write the general solution. So, the general solution is given by C of t into integrating factor is equal to integration of Rc by v naught plus r minus r dash t, which is a term in the right hand side of our differential equation, into integrating factor plus the constant k. So, here too we need to find out the value of the constant k to make the solution complete. So, again we apply the initial conditions, that is at time t is equal to 0, the concentration C of t is equal to C naught. Applying this initial condition in our solution, we get the expression for k to be equal to C naught minus C into V naught to the power r divided by r minus r dash. Now, substituting this k in our solution and arranging the terms, we obtain the final expression for C of t. So, C of t is equal to C plus k into C of 0 minus C divided by 1 plus r minus r dash divided by v naught, the whole power r by r minus r dash. That is expression 10 which we have shown here, which is the final equation governing the case 2. So, here too, applying t tends to infinity, we can see the second expression tends to 0 and C of t tends to C when r is greater than r dash, which is a final conclusion for our second case. So, similarly, other situations can also be modeled as a simple compartment model, and we can arrive at the solution for finding the expressions or to evaluate the value of a particular parameter at any time t. Thank you.